forecasting today.
Just unpleasant.
Excuse me,
Just as an example.
I'm recording you.
Well, I think you're most.
No, I'm requesting you to acknowledge it.
I think so. Yes. We're not in business charging people mobile phones, please, sorry.
No, sorry, it's a camera. It's recording this meeting.
Sorry, you can record a meeting if you like, but not on our electricity. Sorry, you're not recording the meeting on our electricity.
Yes, I am. It's our
Child business. Colleagues, it's 7 o'clock to start the meeting. Can I have previous meetings? Which I agreed. Thank you. And apologies for absence, please.
Apologies for later arrival from Councillor.
No, apologies for absence. It's apologies for absence.
Apologies for absence from Councillor Marshall being replaced by Councillor Strongly.
Right, good. Any other? No? Does any member wish to declare any person for political interests? Thank you. Any booking arrangements, formal standing orders? No. Fine, we move on to item 4, which is public questions. I shall ask the public questioners to appear at the seat opposite me, and I shall give the answer to their question. Then they may ask a supplementary question.
Chair.
Is this point of order, Councillor?
It is indeed. The convention over the last period has been that written questions submitted by members of the public receive a written answer, and then they are able to frame their supplementary questions around that. Why are we not doing that now?
I checked standing orders before asking the officers. I checked standing orders quite thoroughly before asking the officers to do this matter. Sorry.
Can I just lodge can I just actually say that I have no problem with this. This is a convention that the leader has established, and I think, frankly, it's...
So, can I suggest, Councillor, if you have a problem with the standing orders, you bring amendments to the appropriate body which is meeting before council. Right, Mr. Dix. Mr. Dix.
I shall be doing that, but in the meantime, I want to object.
Mr. Dix. Your question number one is, given that Cabinet approved the commencement of this review, we're talking about item 6, the sport and physical activity review, exactly 1 year ago, it has cost 74,000 so far. Why has so little been achieved at such high cost? My answer is that would be one of the questions that we put to the Cabinet member later in the meeting. Do you have a supplementary?
Yes, I do. Has any record been kept of how many opportunities for community sports projects have been missed in the 3 years that the council have been dithering over this strategy?
I think it's a big show of misunderstanding. That's not something which is in the remit of this committee to answer. This is an all-party scrutiny committee. This is the first time we've taken the sport and physical review item, so we will be asking the Cabinet member details on his report later, so we're not able to answer that question. Okay, let's move on to question 2. Are councillors embarrassed that council is considering an option to exit from sports and physical activity provision, including divestment of leisure centres only weeks after the end of the Olympic Games? My answer is that I consider, and I suspect the committee might have different views later on, that we have to consider all options when doing a review, else it wouldn't be a full and frank review. Do you have a supplementary?
I do. What guarantees can the chairman provide that the poorest residents in the borough will still be able to access affordable leisure facilities?
That's not a matter that is in my power. I'm scrutiny committee chairman or executive member. Question 3, Mr. Diggs. Is the 898,000 budget complete study an ambitious target or an optimistic aspiration, and what step will this committee take to pin down the officers to a fixed maximum budget, to which my answer is, I think you can be reassured that this committee will take a very firm view on sticking to budgets, that is firmly within our remit, and will keep officers and executive members on to the agreed budget. Do you have a supplementary?
I do. Is the Chairman prepared to recommend that the report specifically states that the budget is a maximum, given that an estimate, that if it is an estimate, there is no governance obligations for officers to report back to members when it goes over budget, and that is a statement confirmed by Grant Thornton, the auditors.
I think that's a matter the committee may well consider later. Right, thank you, Mr. Dix.
I just want it recorded that I did submit a further question,
No.
and that it's been ruled out of order.
It has indeed. Right, question 4 is from Ms. Patel. I think that's Ms. Patel, yes?
And this is a joke. It's seriously bad.
Ms. Patel, question 4. What budget, this is still on item 6, the sport review, what budget the council will now be making available to secure a sporting and physical fitness legacy for individuals in the borough in the light of the Olympics and Paralympic Games success, and in particular whether the council will be making available a budget to support and encourage fitness and engagement in sport for those who are disabled. I would suggest that these are matters that will be covered by the leisure review.
At what point will it be covered? Do you have time to get?
These are matters that will be covered, are covered in the leisure review. Okay, we move on. No, sorry, I have question 5, Ms. Cutler. Ms. Cutler with us. Ms. Cutler, question 5. Question 5, which relates to the DRS project item 8 on members' agenda. Reference power 3.3, what is the intended nature of the new relationship with citizens and how will it differ from the existing relationship? For instance, I'm sorry, Mr. Silverman, it will give me deep pleasure to throw you out of this meeting. So I suggest you don't give me the opportunity. Your question is, question 5, reference power 3.3, what is the intended nature of the new relationship with citizens and how will it differ from the existing relationship? For instance, will it allow more responsive democracy by e.g. reinstating the rights of residents to ask questions on any topic residents forum, or will it allow even less responsive democracy, e.g. being unable to deal with residents' queries and complaints because they have no direct connection with the ultimate service providers?
Excuse me.
No, so you may ask supplementary.
No,
which I
before
would
you
want-
answer,
no,
it's not a supplementary question.
Well,
It's a request, if you wouldn't mind. I'm one of those elderly folk that you refer to the other.
no. Sorry, can you...
So I would like you, because you must be so courteous to speak. If you would be so courteous as to speak slowly and clearly so that I can understand your answer.
You will get a written copy in due course.
Tonight.
You will get a written copy in due course. The matters of residence forums are not covered by the DRS project. I think there's been discussion in the past in this committee, and I think this committee's position has been that this won't change the relationship between elected members of the council and its residents. Do you have a new supplementary, Ms. Campbell?
Yes, when this new relationship that's talked about be introduced to the residents of Barnet, and how will the council respond to any comments or requests for change by the residents?
I'm sure this committee and the Cabinet in due course will consider all responses following the appropriate consultation. Thank you. Thank you. Mrs. Jacobson, question 6.
Thank you for your long answer.
Mr. Jacobson asks also in relation to item 8, in relation to paragraph 3.4, how will Ron Barnett's aim of a relentless drive for efficiency be monitored effectively when the outsourced contracts are subcontracted, and what safeguards will exist to protect council taxpayers if the contractors at any level or remove, I don't know if this is Hamlet's print or yours, or remove failed to deliver the efficiency and cost savings estimated. Well,
Removed is a technical term meaning they are removed from the immediate by being down 11, so it's level.
I should come out of print on my bed right now. The answer to that is elected councillors will have overall control of monitoring all contracts, all services, whether they are provided by in-house staff or the private sector or under any other arrangement. And that will be through the appropriate council committees, of which this currently is one. So, do you have a supplementary, Mrs. Jacobson?
I do. How many councillors or council staff members exactly will be responsible for monitoring the performance of the contractors? And will the councillors be the interface with those contractors from complaints from the public, taking responsibility to ensure a resolution fair and satisfactory to the complainant, thus maintain that level of our representative democracy?
I think the answer is probably yes. Councillors always be the interface between residents of the borough and council services, whether those services be in-house or some services have been for many decades been privately provided. And I suspect that relationship won't change in the slightest. Mr. Jacobson, question 7. In relation to paragraph 9.1.1, will the committee confirm that any decision to form a joint venture company as a delivery vehicle for the DRS contract will be published and publicised so that it is accessible to all Barnet residents in good time before the decision is implemented, with the essential details of who will be on the board of such a company, what remuneration they receive, and how it will affect their positions as councillors, including whether it has the potential to reach conflict of interest? I suspect the answer to that, although not in my remit, is yes.
Okay.
Do you have a supplementary to that?
Yes, I wonder if the chair or the council or the committee can explain how in detail it has been planned to ensure that any JV entered into avoids the losses and shortcomings such as those that have plagued SW1 at significant cost to local taxpayers, particularly given that BT and Capita's annual reports laud only their own profits and dividends and do not mention any benefits to clients.
This committee, amongst others, and other democratic forms of council, will do all the appropriate monitoring. Question 8, Mrs. Jacobson again. In relation to paragraph 9.1.2, will the committee confirm that any decision to utilise joint venture companies within the overall OBP will be published and publicised so that it is accessible to all Barnet residents in good time before the decision is implemented, with the essential details of the composition of these companies, their relationship to council, and how their work will be monitored and controlled? I suspect the answer is yes. Do you have a supplementary?
I do. I wonder how the council will defend the use of the JV in the face of Oliver Letman's published comment that it is no longer good enough that some of our citizens should have to put up with unresponsive, underperforming, and uniform services designed and delivered by a top-down process with no regard to the nuances of local need, no flexibility to adapt to changing circumstances, or no requirement to listen to and make room for the knowledge, experience, and capacity of local people.
I suspect that may be the focus of our discussion later on tonight in this meeting of the appropriate agenda item. Question 9, thank you, Mr. Jacobson. Question 9, Mr. Silverman. Mr. Silverman's question is still on item 8. In view of your declared, I don't know who you is, but your declared aims of transparency and forging a new relationship with citizens, the Cabinet, well, this isn't a meeting of the Cabinet. If it's a question of the Cabinet, sorry, Mr. Silverman. Mr. Silverman, I'm just trying to help you here, because if it's a question of the Cabinet, it's out of order. So you better tell me it's not a question of the Cabinet.
It's a question for you to answer in the best way.
It's a question for this committee, is it? Right, good. In view of your declared aims of transparency and forging a new relationship with citizens, could you explain to the lay public in simple terms what are the possible relative advantages and disadvantages to the Council, to the citizens of Barnet and to the companies concerned about, like privatisation, public-private partnerships of various kinds, outsourcing, insourcing and joint venture companies, and what sort of a joint venture company would it be? A limited company, PLC or what? Who would bear a major part of the risk and who the rewards? Is it possible to put a cash figure to such estimates in each case? If not, will the relevant information be available to all of us before you sign, assuming the council signs, on a behalf, so that citizens can play an informed and responsible part in the decision-making process? I suspect all these issues will be explored tonight and in future meetings of the Cabinet Resources Committee when decisions are to be taken on what sort of contract is signed and whether a contract is signed at all. Do you have a supplementary, Mr.
So I wonder if you have any comments to this, and have you come across a report produced by APSI called The Value of Returning Local Authority Services in-house in an Era of Budget Restraints? Benefits of outsourcing. Existing evidence, quantitative survey, examples of outsourcing and case studies have reviewed a number of benefits that stem from returning services in-house. These include improving efficiency and reducing costs, the ability to integrate a range of services, enhanced flexibility, minimizing risk, regaining control, reducing cost and time spent managing contracts, boosting local engagement and accountability, greater staff motivation and improved service quality, maintaining expertise and capacity. Have you any comments?
APSI is an organisation for which Barnet Council resigned in 2002. I'm aware that it's very heavily reliant on trade union and Labour Council funding.
What is your answer to the point?
That's the answer to the question. Thank you.
The question is, what is your answer?
Thank you, Mr. Silverman.
Please answer.
Thank you, Mr. Silverman. Question 10 is...
I know how very much... Excuse me.
Now, Mr. Silverman, you're just wasting everybody's time.
No,
Mr. Silverman, question 10.
No.
Question 10.
No, I want an answer. Excuse me, I want an answer to that question.
Sorry, you've had an answer.
No, I haven't.
Whether you like the answer is another matter.
I don't know the question about like it or not. It's not an answer.
I'm sorry. Whether you like the answer...
I don't like that question.
I understand you don't like the answer, that's the answer.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Silverman. Could we have
If there were no children here,
Could
it's
we
not a
have...
question whether I like the answer or
Yes.
not. Will you answer? What is your answer to the points being made about improving efficiency, reducing costs?
These are all matters to be considered. Right, thank you, Mr.
How do you
Silverman.
consider them and what is your answer to them?
These are all matters to be considered. Thank you,
Have
Mr.
you
Silverman.
considered them?
Mr. Silverman.
Have you considered
Mr.
them?
Silverman, can you please allow the next member of the public to come and ask their question?
Have you questioned?
Mr. Silverman.
Just answer the question.
Mr. Silverman, sadly, we all have to follow the rules here, even with...
Yes, follow the rules.
I'm sorry, Mr. Silverman.
I'm not leaving till you answer the question.
Ms. Patel, would you like to come and ask your question number 10? Ms. Patel? Would you come and ask your question? Do come and join us. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Question 10. Ms. Patel asks us, how will the council meet its legal duty to consult with and to listen to the wide cross-section of residents' representation from across the borough when it makes a decision on the model for the One Barnet transformation programme? One of the concerns about the DRS wing of the project is that inadequate consultation has been made with residents to meet the procedural fairness requirement of the decision. And we've got you first, Mr. Silverman. It would be good to know how the council is going to meet this requirement when it finally makes a decision on the One Barnet DRS model, to which my answer is some of these issues will be discussed tonight at meeting, and
It's a slightly bit of a farce, isn't it?
if you're going to walk out, do it dramatically. Mr.
No,
Silverman.
you're walking out. You've got more important things to do.
Some of these will be discussed tonight at the meeting discussion, and I'm sure all the other issues will be taken into account by the Cabinet and the Cabinet Resources Committee in due course when they discuss the awarding or non-awarding of contracts. Ms. Patel, have you a supplementary?
Yes, I do. The supplementary is that will the One Barnet decision be made during the course of having dialogue with the business or outside of that, and what will the council be doing to ensure that dialogue with bidders does not influence the outcome of the decision as to whether it's a joint venture or a strategic partnership?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I will ask the Child Security Officer to just make a note of that, and we'll ask the leader of the council when he deals with that, or Councillor Thomas when they deal with that later on in the meeting. Say where you are, Ms. Patel, because I think, Ms. Patel, would you say where you are, because I think final question is yours as well. Question 11. Mr. Patel asks, the business case that was presented to the public for One Barnet was over 160 pages long and almost exclusively focused on a strategic partnership relationship between the council and the commission department. A joint venture is mentioned only once in a single paragraph of the business case. Why at this late stage of dialogue is there no similar thought through the business case for the current preferred option from One Barnet, which is now a joint venture? These are matters that will be discussed at some length, I hope, later on tonight in our meeting and our questioning of the appropriate cabinet. But it's my understanding from discussions with officers that no decision has been reached on the joint venture, and as I'm not even sure that is the current preferred option. But those matters will become clear, I hope, when the appropriate cabinet members are questioned later in this meeting. Have you got a supplementary to that?
Yes, I do have a supplementary to that. The leaked email that was disclosed in the Great Barnet from Ms. Pamela suggested that the joint venture option was the preferred option. So I would like to know what evidence, information, written analysis really explains the sudden change from what seems up until this stage to be a preference for a strategic partnership to a joint venture, and can the council disclose those documents?
We should be asking us more of that later on in this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I thank all questioners for those interesting, exciting questions. We now move on the agenda to item 5.